nation, and welcome to one of the final two videos of the Top 100 series. This has been what I like to call a labor of love. And I've always, as I said at the beginning of this series, that I always looked at those AFI Top 100 movies and I was like, I want to create a list, but I want to do it my own personal way. And like I said, it's been a labor of love the last last 2 months. And this is one of the part 2 finales of this series. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far, and I hope that maybe that people watching this are like, yeah, I've never seen that movie. Ooh, I've never heard of that movie. I'm curious to see that. So if I do anything, is maybe I have got somebody who wants to go see one of these movies that I've talked about. Because some of these films are very obscure. Some of these movies are very popular. And I just, it's been a fun series to do. So let's get right to the top 10. And this is my video number 10 through 6. At number 10, I'm going with Gladiator.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Gladiator is just an incredible film. I mean, what more can you say? It's a historical film. It is based off history, but it also takes a lot of it's more fiction than history, but there is a lot of history into it. But the movie is directed by Ridley Scott, and the movie starring Russell Crowe. And Russell Crowe plays this character of Maximus Aurelius, who is a general of the Roman forces, who is tasked to do this thing, and he basically becomes a gladiator whose family is slaughtered, basically kind of in front of him. And he tries to, and he feels like he failed. And the battle scenes in this movie are incredible. The fight scenes, the things of the gladiator stuff. Joaquin Phoenix playing Commodus is like one of the great movie villains, and he's just incredible in this role. And like every other small character in this film does a very good job. And like I said, the battle scenes are good. The quotes are incredible. The Hans Zimmer score is just breathtaking. It's just incredible. Gladiator, this one movie, is one of those films that I've watched so many times, and I'll probably keep watching it over and over again. It's just everything that a good historical epic film should be, and that's what Gladiator is. And yeah, Gladiator had to crack the top 10.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife. And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
At number 9, I'm going with The Godfather.
You spend time with your family?
Sure I do.
Good. Because a man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man. Come here. You look terrible. I want you to eat. I want you to rest well, and a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
It's too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I mean, The Godfather. It's enough. That's all I really have to say is The Godfather. But, the movie directed by Francis Ford Coppola, starring Al Pacino and Marlon Brando and so many other people in this film. And the story of this guy who is head of this mafia family, the Corleones, and it's how the story about a guy who's kind of the reluctant, well, I would like to say the reluctant hero, but really the reluctant villain, who he has this darkness in him, but he doesn't really want to be part of this family. And that moment, when Al Pacino says, "I'm in, Father, I'm in," and you just see that breaks Corleone's heart, Vito Corleone's heart. He's because I want my son to do something more. I want him to be a senator or President Corleone, and as he evolves into this character, because Vito Corleone's character has a lot of honor to him, but Michael is completely more of a bad guy, and his journey into villainy is just incredible. A lot of it means this. I mean, the movie's so quotable to the I want to make him an offer he can't refuse. And everything with Marlon Brando as that character is incredible. But Pacino does such a good job as his character. I love this movie. The Godfather is just the Godfather of crime films. It's just incredible film. I love Godfather. Had to be on my list.
Στη φυσαρία. Siete finiti.
At number 8, I'm going with Casablanca. Casablanca is one of the greatest films ever made, and it's the one film that when I watched it for the first time all those years ago made me want to go and watch other classic films like Casablanca. The story of it is you have this guy Rick who he owns this little gin joint in Casablanca, and basically as his former love comes in, and the movie has so many great lines from of all the gin joints in all the world, why did she have to walk into my house? How this girl broke his heart, and how it's kind of a similar to how America was, where they didn't want to get involved in the fight, and eventually at the end of the movie he says, I gotta get into this fight, I gotta fight for something I actually believe in. And everything with Humphrey Bogart in this role is great. But then the one character that I always laugh and always love his presence in is Claude Rains. I've talked about Claude Rains in so many movies on this list so far, and I'm going to talk about him once again because he is just hilarious. I mean, everything from the line of, I'm closing this joint now for gambling. It'll pull me. Your wedding, son. Thank you very much. Just everything about his character, and that ending, that end line where it's one of the great love stories because Rick has to let Elsa go because she'll regret it if she doesn't go with him, and will always have Paris. And sometimes just because you don't end up with the person doesn't mean you don't love each other. And then that scene, the line at the end where he goes off to get back in the fight, and he's like, Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Love Casablanca, had to be on this list. I'm just shocked it's not higher because every time I watch this movie, it jumps higher on this list. But at the moment, it is number 8.
It might be a good idea for you to disappear from Casablanca for a while. There's a free French garrison over at Brazzaville. I could be induced to arrange a passage.
My letter of transit? I could use a trip. But it doesn't make any difference about our bet. You still owe me 10,000 francs.
And that 10,000 francs should pay our expenses.
Our expenses?
Mm-hmm.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
At number 7, I'm going with Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
It's too big to be a space station.
Very bad feeling about this.
Turn the ship around.
Yeah, I think Monkey, all right. Full reverse. Chewie, locking the auxiliary power. Chewie, locking the auxiliary power.
Why are we still moving towards it?
We're caught in a trap that's pulling us in.
There's gotta be something you can do.
There's nothing I can do about it, kid. I'm full power. I'm gonna have to shut down. You're not gonna get me without a fight.
You can't win, but there are alternatives to fighting.
Yeah, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, but I'm tired it's technically Star Wars because that's what it was when it was first released, and that's what I'm calling it. Star Wars is a movie, for me, it's one of those films that I talked about at the beginning of my introduction video. I wouldn't be doing this YouTube channel if it wasn't for Star Wars. And everything about the story of Star Wars is great. I mean, it is a reluctant hero. The good guys wear white, the bad guy wears black. So you know who the good guy is, you know who the bad guy is. But then there's so many other things. Like what this movie does for special effects and CGI and how it inspired so many other film directors like James Cameron and J.J. Abrams, Christopher Nolan, Rian Johnson. So many directors can look back at Star Wars as their inspiration for their film love, and that Star Wars totally does that for me. The story, I mean, it's a simple story. A guy trying to save the princess. The battle scenes, the Obi-Wan Kenobi character who has to sacrifice himself, because if he doesn't sacrifice himself, Luke and Han and all of them will not get out of the Death Star, and then everything that Obi-Wan has fought for his entire life will be for nothing. And then the Death Star trench run is just one of those legendary things. Han Solo, one of the great characters. I mean, him shooting Greedo, because he did shoot first. And everything about this movie, I always go back to, I always forget how good Star Wars really is. And yeah, I had to finally put a Star Wars movie on this list, and there were 7 Star Wars. It's just an incredible film. Number 6, I'm going with The Dark Knight.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
Give me one reason why I shouldn't have my boy here pull your head off.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. It's gone. Oh, and by the way, the suit, it wasn't cheap. You ought to know, you bought it.
The Dark Knight, I mean, this is what I consider the greatest comic book movie ever. Every comic book movie since The Dark Knight has been chasing The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight proved to me and proved to the world that comic book movies are not just silly little adventure movies. You could tell an excellent story with the makeup of being a superhero movie. Because The Dark Knight is a crime movie about this guy who wants to unite the mob, who is an anarchist. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, the greatest Joker of all time. It's just incredible. Everything he does, everything he does, he's like, do I really look like a guy with a plan? And then Christian Bale's Batman. Christian Bale is probably my favorite Batman, to be honest with you. I love his character in the film. And then everything, and then the whole twist of this film of Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face. Like, you would think you would say that for the third movie, but no, it's thrown in the second movie, and it doesn't feel forced. A lot of these superhero movies try to put so many super villains in their film, and they just don't work. And this one totally works. And also, like, Gary Oldman as James Gordon, Morgan Freeman in this film. And then, like, the score by Hans Zimmer is incredible. And the fight scenes, the bank heist scene. There are so many scenes in this movie that are incredible. The Dark Knight is, like I said, one of the most incredible superhero films ever made. It is the Godfather, the Citizen Kane of superhero films. I don't think a film will ever be better than The Dark Knight. If it does, I'll be shocked.
You complete me.
You're garbage. You kills for money.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak. Like me. They need you right now. But when they don't, they'll cast you out. Like a leper. See, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be.
So guys, that ends this video of the top 100. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I got one video left. And it's a doozy. So guys, what movies on this list do you think are like, oh yeah, that should be a higher on the list? Or maybe it's like, how's that not number one? What's wrong with you? Whatever it is, comment below, let me know. And guys, if you like to see the fact, thumbs up, subscribe to see more, tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.